Hello, everyone. I hope you had a beautiful spring break. I hope you got plenty of rest and you're back feeling refreshed and ready to do some work. So, here's today's post. Um, I'm sorry, it looks a little overwhelming. It's kind of wordy, but that's because I broke it up into different topics um, just so that it's a little more organized and easier to read. So, before the break, we were working on causes of World War II. And now we are moving into Hitler and the rise of the Nazi Party. So essentially, how the heck did Hitler come to power? And how did the Nazi Party also gain traction and become so strong? All right, so then you'll see below here, we've got the skill. Today we're doing main idea and key details. I have the task, meaning what your job is for today. All the resources and attachments that are down here, I explain them. Okay. I talk about Google Hangout. I will be holding one today at 11:30 if you would like to join, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's look at the assignment. You're going to click Google Slides, and here we are. We're working on World War II. The lesson is Hitler and the rise of Nazism. You'll see 2 pages of text, and the last page is the graphic organizer, where you will be putting your work for the day. Now, everything that you see that's highlighted are the vocabulary words that I will attach on the post as well. If I were you, I would click present so it's easier to read. The text is a little bigger. All right, you're going to go through, read all of page 1 and all of page 2. If you would like, I have also uploaded a reading that I did of this text. So if you would like, you can play my audio while just following along. Okay, that is an option as well. There are some pretty big vocabulary words, so if you're not feeling confident in reading this and you want to just follow along as I read, that's totally fine. Okay, so then we get here to the graphic organizer. We are working on main idea and key details. Essentially, I believe you guys have done main idea and key details since, first grade or so. You probably did a lot of it in 4th and 5th grade, but I don't know how much of it you have done since, so I'm going to do a quick refresher. But a main idea is what the whole text is mostly about, or each individual paragraph. Okay, and then key details support that main idea. If you remember back to the research paper, the main idea is essentially your claim or your thesis, and then the key details were all the points and all the evidence that you use to prove your claim. That's essentially what main idea and key details are. All right, we've got the claim, the main idea, and then all these key details that support it. So I have the directions here. And keep in mind, sometimes the text has more than one main idea. So in this particular text, it has 2 main ideas. All right, so main idea 1, main idea 2, and then each main idea is supported by key details. So imagine if you had 2 theses and then, or 2 claims for your research paper, and then all the evidence that you use to support would go in these boxes. So the directions say, read Hitler and the rise of Nazism, which is this text. You need to highlight the first main idea using a pink highlighter. Okay, so just the main idea, the first one that you find. And then find at least 3 details that support that main idea. Highlight those key details using a green highlighter. Now, here's the thing. You will not be able to physically highlight on here, okay? Because of the way that I uploaded this and the way that I did this, and so many people were having issues last time, you cannot physically highlight. So instead, what you will see is I wrote, place arrows here for highlighting text. Okay, so what that means is you are going to click insert, shape, arrow, and if we're doing this side, I would choose this one. And let's say that right here is, actually let's say these 3 sentences are an example of the main idea. Okay, and the main idea had to be pink. So I'm going to then click fill. It says fill color. And I'm just going to choose any pink. That's an ugly pink, but okay. And then if you would like, you can write main idea number 1 to stay focused, if you would like. You are going to continue that for the rest of the text for each one. Okay, I wrote it down here for your reference, so that way you're reminded. So the first main idea gets a pink highlighter. I wrote use an arrow like this to highlight, and then the key details for that get a green. The second main idea gets orange, and then their details get blue. Towards the bottom, it says use the main ideas and details to write a summary of the text. I would just like for you to summarize the main idea and details and the main idea and details. Okay, in your own words. Just write a quick summary of the text using just this information, nothing else. Okay, so I imagine some of you might struggle with main idea and details when, especially with a text like this, when there is so much information. So if you go back to the post, well, let's say, for example, you're reading and you're like, I have no idea what the difference is between a main idea and a key detail. Or you think that they're all main ideas, or you think they're all just key details. If you go back to the post, I uploaded a resource for you. It's called a Jamboard. I'm not sure if any of you have used it, but it should be included in your Google Drive. But it's very interactive, and it's a really great tool for us to use. So if you look up here, I have 4 pages. So you can click the arrows to go from page to page. Okay, it starts off with very simple idea of main idea and detail, and then it gets a little more advanced as we go, and then the last page here, I give examples of this first main idea and the 3 details. So what that means is if you're really struggling, you're not sure what I mean, and you're not sure about finding the main ideas or details from the text, you're really struggling here, then go to this, practice, and then when you get to here, I have 4 pieces of information from the text. 3 of them are key details, and 1 of them is the main idea. Okay, so this will hopefully help you become a little more confident in seeing which of these is main idea and details compared to all of this information. Okay, I tried to break it down and make it a little more streamlined for you. As for the rest of the practice, I'm just going to take you through real quick and explain the assignment. If you choose to use this resource, again, this is totally optional, only if you're struggling and you haven't done main idea and detail in a while or what have you. So essentially for this, there are 3 different groups of pictures here. You have to differentiate, you have to figure out what these different groups are. And I wrote all the instructions on each yellow sticky note. So you'll see yellow sticky note has the instructions. So if you look at 1, what you're going to do is type a word on each sticky note and then drag the pictures to the group it belongs to. So the first example, I see a lot of fruit, so I'm going to say fruits. And then you are going to drag all the pictures of fruits to it. Now what happens is you can see the pictures go behind. So if you could just put them underneath, or you can manipulate this however you'd like. If you realize there's not enough space, you can move things around. I made one of these for each of you. So each of you have your own. You can change it around if you would like. Kind of delete that. Okay. The next, you are going to use the highlight tool to highlight the sentence that does not support or make sense in the text. Okay, so essentially, well, first, let me explain. What does this have to do with main idea and details? Well, what you're doing is you're grouping, right? So if the subject is fruit, then all these types of fruits are kind of like the supporting detail. You have one main idea, fruit, and then all these specific types of fruits are supporting or illustrating that main idea. And then when we get to here, you're going to read each little short text, and then in it has a sentence that does not belong. Okay, meaning each of these is a main idea, and then it's just filled with supporting details. But one sentence does not make sense and is not supportive to that main idea. So the highlight tool is if you click here, it gives you a few different options. This is a pen, this is a marker, highlighter, and paintbrush. Grab the highlighter, choose any color that you would like, okay? And you're going to highlight the sentence that does not belong. So if we do number 1, for example, it says, women's gymnastics is a very popular sport to watch during the Olympics. The girls compete on 4 different events: uneven bars, balance beam, vault, and floor. Men's gymnastics has 6 different events. While the women's floor routine is to music, the uneven bars, balance beam, and vault are not to music. So I read this, and the thing that sticks out to me, what does not make sense, is why are we talking about men? Right? We're not focused on men's gymnastics. The rest of this is all about women's gymnastics. So the sentence that says men's gymnastics has 6 different events is unrelated and does not support the main idea that women's gymnastics is a popular sport to watch during the Olympics. Okay? So that is that. This one, you are going to read this short little text about chickens as pets, and then you have to decide what the main idea is and what the details are. All you're going to do is drag the main idea over and then the details below. And the last one, once you get to this point, if you have not read the text, I would say pause when you get here, go back, read the article, okay, and then you can come in here and do this. But what you're going to do is you are going to decide which of these is that main idea, drag it over, and then which 3 support that main idea. Okay, again, if you think about it in terms of your research paper, how you have your one claim, that one thing you're trying to prove, and then everything else falls below it and supports it, that's a great way to think about it. The details are things that support, they prove it, they illustrate it. And the main idea is the summary, the bulk of what the text is about. Okay, it's a little more broad, and then the key details are very specific. So that is that. Okay? This one is a little shorter than most videos I do. I just tried to do this quickly for you. But again, make sure you check the attachments for the vocabulary. Check the attachments for the Jamboard. Check the attachments for my reading if you would like to listen to me read and you follow along. All right? Okay. And also, I think I said this earlier, if you get stuck and you tried using the Jamboard and you tried watching this video and you're still struggling or you have some questions, anything like that, make sure you message me or comment on this post so that way I can invite you to our Google Hangout at 11:30, and then I can take you through it, and I can answer any of your questions or explain anything that you get stuck on. Okay? All right.